Welcome to this week's Brittany's Bites. This week we are making a fun recipe, one that I've probably been making for more than 20 years now. It is a dip recipe because, hey, it's time for those backyard barbecues and cookouts and grilling and boat days and pool days and just getting outside and having fun with friends and family. So if you need a recipe to bring that will sort of set you apart from the crowd, this is the one to do it. Because of course, I'm sure we've all seen those recipes that are circulating on social media right now, those boat dip, the lake dip, whatever you want to call it. Don't get me wrong. Those are great. They're fantastic. But everyone's going to be bringing those and you see them all the time. So this is something to change it up a little bit. And it's actually a little healthier too. So hey, who can beat that? And I promise it will still please the crowd. So I've heard it called before ugly dip. I don't think it's very ugly and I feel like I don't want to call it that. So I'm just going to mash up some of the ingredients and call it a black bean corn feta dip. Yeah, all right, we're going to go with that. I promise whatever you call it, I think you're gonna like it. So let's get started. Again, it comes together in one bowl. So the two main ingredients here, the ones I mentioned, black bean and corn, we'll start with those. I just have a 15-ounce can of black beans, no salt added, and I went ahead and rinsed and drained them. You definitely wanna do that. You don't necessarily have to rinse the corn. And the reason I didn't do that and I left it in the can here is I wanted to show you exactly what type of corn it is. I imagine other corn could work fine in this, but I've always made it with this because this is what I was taught to do. And so that's how I feel like the flavors have to come together. So if you can see here, this is white shoe peg corn. So if you're looking at the corn aisle, you're gonna see a ton of them. You need to look up to the top shelf and that's when you might see this. So it's white shoe peg corn, very specific. And I promise that's what makes this recipe. So if you can, try to get this kind. And this is actually also, I think 11-ounce can as well. So 15-ounce can of beans, 11-ounce can of the corn. And let's see, let's just start stirring this up a little bit. Great, and then to that, we are gonna add some green onion. Now, I've also seen people do similar recipes where they add red onion, which I think would be fantastic as well, but I like the green onion in here and I love the flavor and the color it gives. I just chopped up, I guess it's maybe a 1/4 cup to a 1/3 cup, and I'm going to add in almost all of it except for a few that I wanna keep on top for garnish. You know I love keeping some for garnish. All right, that's pretty good. All right, I'm gonna mix these together. The next is some cheese. And so we're using a little bit of a lighter, healthier cheese here instead of, like the big shredded cheese or the block cheese or the sour cream. That's why this is a little bit lighter, right? So the recipe I've seen before calls for 4 ounces of feta cheese crumbled, and it's sort of in a circular container, but I've also gotten these. This is a 6-ounce container. So, it's kind of up to you. If you want to add the whole thing, that's fine. I'm probably going to add almost all of it. I want to take off the whole lid to do this. Just kind of eyeball a little bit. Oh, I've got a whole chunk. No wonder it wouldn't come out. Let's see. All right, I think that's almost all I'm going to want to do. I'm going to stir this up, see what it looks like. Because you definitely do want a bite of feta in almost every bite, but I don't want to overdo it and overpower the other flavors. Okay, that actually looks pretty good for now. You can always go back and add in more. Really hard to take it away in a dish like this, right? So we're gonna go with that for now. So that is basically your ingredients for the main part of the dish. Now we gotta talk about that dressing that really makes it all come together. So I'm gonna set this aside for just a minute and then we'll get the dressing together. So in a little dish here, I'm going to start with, it's basically a few ingredients plus some spices. Now, normally I wouldn't start with this dry sugar because it'll kind of clump on the bottom, but I want to use the same little thing for the other ones, and I don't want it to be wet and then stick it in my sugar. So I have a 1/3 cup. Now, I have seen people do 1/2 cup portions of this in their recipes, but I always feel like it makes too much. So this is a 1/3 cup of sugar. You can always use a sugar substitute here, totally fine. It just helps to have sweetness in this because we're gonna balance out the acid of the apple cider vinegar we're gonna use. Okay, speaking of that, let's just move on to that. The easy thing about this recipe is it's all the same. It's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 cup, each ingredient here. So I've got apple cider vinegar. I really like it, so sometimes I just let it pour over. I love the tang of apple cider vinegar. And then the last thing we're gonna add, and this is another ingredient. I really focused on the corn and the special type of corn. This olive oil is, I've seen it either light taste or light tasting. Do not get that confused with extra virgin olive oil. That is not what we want to use here. This is what we want to use. It just has a lighter flavor, hence the name, and it just helps when you're making a dip like this to not overwhelm the dip with that olive oil flavor, which we love, but you might not necessarily want it in this particular dish. So light taste or light tasting is what we're using. Again, a 1/3 cup. That all out. Perfect. All right, I'm actually gonna go ahead and start mixing this up a little bit, trying to get it a little emulsified. That's sort of the basis of your dressing here, but I'm gonna add in just a little garlic salt. This is to taste, and then also add in probably more pepper than salt because we've already got garlic salt here. Couple cranks of that. I'll just do one of this for good measure. There we go. Okay, so you really wanna make sure that this is all combined. Definitely wanna make sure all of that sugar on the bottom is all combined. See how quickly this is coming together, by the way? We're almost at the finish line here. Great. Another tip before I put this on, sometimes I'll put this together before a party and I'll just do this and this, keep it separate in the fridge, because you do want the flavors to come together a little bit, but you don't want it to sit too long, certainly not overnight. That's not a dish that you wanna do this with. So right before you're getting ready to serve it, you're gonna wanna mix it together. But I'm gonna serve it now, right? So I'm going to add it now. And this is the other thing that I eyeball. Again, I always feel like I still end up having too much dressing, because you can always, again, add more. So just be careful when you're doing it. I'm gonna, again, eyeball it. Stir it up. So you can see it's already sort of soaking on the bottom there. So I don't think we need more than that, at least not right now. And this pretty much does it. This is your dip. What I want to do, I'll grab my little bowl here that I had, just show you what it can look like in an individual serving here. I don't really have a good scoop with me. But what I would do is I would scoop it out like this if I had a great spoon over here. And then I would take a few of these green onions and sprinkle it on top. And here's what you want to serve it with. In my opinion, you want to have those big corn chips that are scoops, right? Because you want to be able to take a scoop. I'll show you. Let's get a really good one here. Take a scoop like this and then dip it right in and get all of the goodness in one bite. All right, I hope you give it a try. You can call it ugly dip if you want, but I think it looks fantastic. So we can put this whole recipe for you online, all written out for you right now on WBIR.com.